School's top athlete challenged him to a 100-meter race. Everyone thought he'd get destroyed. This baby formula buffet was laughing, saying a trash like him shouldn't even have the right to participate. And it looked that way too, because the moment the gun was shot and the dude ran desperate, our boy stood there, getting mocked while I enjoy the view. Until the moment came and he stepped on the gas and darted like an arrow. Blondie was shocked. The top athlete was left eating smoke and our boy crossed with ease. Bro even farmed some 5 more aura points by just waiting for the guy to get close to the finish line just to grab it in the last moment and destroy the guy's ego. But how can a new student humiliate the province's prodigy? See, this dude had the strongest aura on the continent of Rudo. 500 years of training. Reached the 11th stage at 65, defeated the Demon King and saved the entire continent. Then his most trusted allies stabbed him in the back, and goddammit, why is there always a female trashing this dude's life? I'm giving a pass to him if he becomes a wife beater. But at that moment, it was just suffering. He screamed he'd never forgive them. Then he woke up in the body of Yayamori Hiroto, a kid born into a prestigious clan but kicked out because his energy connectors were blocked and his body was useless. He has 0 power in this new body. But he has 500 years of fighting knowledge in his head and a desire to make girls pay it back. Back to after the race. A school bully runs into our protagonist and starts messing with him. Osaki Haru and Hokuba, from the boxing and fighting club, show up to give him a hard time. He knows the body's original owner was being shaken down by these bullies. They took his money under the excuse that they were protecting him. Hokuba lets Haru handle him, because there's something off about Yamori. Hosaki thinks dealing with weaklings like him is easy, and that one punch will do it. But things are different now, and Yamori dodges the punch easily. He hits back with a powerful punch to the bully's chin. From a cultivator's point of view, a boxing club captain is just an ordinary guy. Then he throws a huge kick right into his face. The boxing captain gets launched back and hits the floor. The bullies wonder if he's really Yamori. Our protagonist asks if they're scared of him. Those assholes don't care and come at him, but he grabs both of them and they cry out in pain, saying they were wrong. The two drop to the bathroom floor and cry, begging him to let them go. Meanwhile, the other bully who took the kick starts getting back up. He charges the protagonist to throw another punch but gets hit and goes flying. Threatening him, the hero says that next time he won't get off so easy. The ones left on the bathroom floor with their hands hurt think he's a monster. Saying they were wrong, they ask him not to come near them anymore. But the protagonist has other plans. They don't get it, and Yamori says they took stuff from him that he wants back. The bully immediately gives back what he took from him. Our protagonist knows he went too far, but those idiots won't have the guts to tell anyone. The school has too many people and it's an annoying place, and he wants to leave as soon as possible. Luckily, he also got a bit of money from his enemies. With that amount, he's going to buy raw materials to make low-level talismans. Talismans are items that weak cultivators buy all the time, and even a piece of crap like him can make a few in this state. After making the items, he knows he can sell them and save up a good amount of money. Now he needs to find a suitable place to cultivate and buy medicinal ingredients. 3 weeks passed and there's no sign of the items selling. People in this world look at talismans with a lot of superstition. In the middle of a run down the street, the level 1 cultivator finds an injured dog. Its injuries look serious, and the little animal collapses on the ground from the pain. So he takes the chance to test the talisman's effects on the dog, which looks like it got hit by a car. He restores the animal's health, which had failing organs and physical trauma. In moments, the dog goes back to being healthy and starts barking, all excited. A man tells Shizuru it's just a dog and it doesn't matter if it lives or dies. The young mistress of the Suga family says he thinks that because he's the one who ran the animal over. Annoyed, the madam plans to take the little guy to the vet, until she's shocked to see it in the boy's arms and healthy. Even after being hit, she asks how it's completely healed and if the young man did something to it. Suga saw the animal completely covered in tomato sauce and thought it was a lost cause. Seeing that she's going to a hospital to visit someone, the protagonist finds the perfect chance to show off the talisman, saying he simply used a blue protection talisman. However, Wada thinks he's a lying con artist and says he won't be fooled. He's sure the kid threw the dog into their path to rob them. Even with he tells the young mistress not to believe anything. She asks if the talisman works on people, wondering if it can heal someone in a vegetative state, so the protagonist understands she wants to save the life of someone in a coma. Vegetative states are caused by physical damage to the brain, perfect for his talismans, which use chi to restore the body. Wada doesn't believe a piece of paper will heal her aunt and tells her not to touch the talisman. Our hero explains to the woman that it's simple to use, just hold it in front of the person you want to heal. He offers the big ones for 400,000 yen and the small ones for 200,000. The young master pays 1 million yen to our hero and wants to take everything he has. Wada tells the girl not to buy it because he thinks all of this is insane. However, the cultivator gets annoyed and grabs the man's hand when he tries to stop the sale. He tells him to stop meddling in his business, since the woman already agreed to buy the talisman, saying that if he plans to stand in his way, he'd better back off. After hurting and holding Wada's arm, our hero throws the idiot away, closing the deal with the woman from the Suga family. He hands over an extra yellow protection talisman and a red fire one. He hopes the day never comes when she has to use those specific talismans. Even so, Shizuru thanks him for the freebie and asks the protagonist's name. He introduces himself as Yaemori Hiroto as he walks away. Wado is sure this guy is a fraud and a con artist, even thinking it's impossible to cure a vegetative state. If there's even the slightest chance, she'll try. She wants to make the woman regain consciousness. Finally, he has money and goes looking for a house. His next step is to find medicinal items to use his cultivation abilities. All of a sudden, the dog finds something weird and starts barking to warn its owner. Our hero notices a mansion with a lot of chi spirit around it, until he spots something strange growing in that mansion's garden. It's a silver heart-shaped grass. In the infirmary, one of the guys who got beat up by the protagonist tells the nurse that he's evil. While getting medical treatment, he says he'll make Yaemori pay next time. Suga Kenji, the city councilman watching what Sho did, complains about his behavior. He says he embarrassed the family and that falling for a scammer's nonsense will make him a laughingstock. The nurses gossip about the young master who spent a ton of money on talismans and make fun of her. Shao holds the talisman sad and says she wants to try one more time. This is her last attempt to save her mom, and she'll do whatever it takes. The councilman says she's out of her mind and needs to stop these crazy attempts. Seeing her believe in mystical stuff, he thinks her next step is praying to gods. Talking back to her father, she asks what he's going to do to help. She asks how many times he visited her mom while she was unconscious. She blames her father and says he didn't do everything he could have done, and that if he leaves her mom like this, he'll go find another woman and just abandon her like that. Her father gets really angry and threatens to slap her, but he stops himself and holds back. He says his daughter is getting way too mouthy too. He says he's going to call the nurse and pull those tubes out of her. Crying, the daughter says her father can't do that. Holding the talisman, she cries and says she'll never give up on her mom. Suddenly, the talisman kicks in and a blue light starts coming off it. The mother wakes up, puts her hand on her daughter's face, and calls out Shizuru. Sugiyoko, the mother, wakes up and asks if her daughter lost a little weight. The father is completely shocked and runs out to call a doctor. He calls everyone. After all, his wife woke up from the coma. Shocked, the doctors ask if that's true. They rush to take his wife in for tests. The doctor says that after a year and a half in a coma, she might be able to return to normal life. Suga figures it must be thanks to the blue talisman. He's sure it worked, and the doctors think it's impossible and don't believe it. The father thinks it's a miracle, and the doctor tells them to call Professor Suzuki. Wada wonders if the man who sold the talisman was some kind of heavenly being. Yoko hugs Shizuru, apologizing for making her suffer, but her daughter is happy she woke up. Certain that God exists, she wants to find the man again to thank him. Meanwhile, he's finished the first step to return to the Ryu continent, which is finishing the move into his new house. He'll never forgive the people who betrayed him in his past life. Before that, he needs to reach the 11th level of cultivation and get spirit sources and materials. He knows the day of revenge is coming, and they'll pay the price soon. At this rate, his energy will run out, because in this world, spiritual energy is weak. To get past that, he needs to find an item overflowing with Chieb spirit energy. He assumes only spiritual springs or rare artifacts would be enough, but thinking that silver hearts are growing there in the garden, he gets excited. After all, silver heart grass is an A-rank spiritual material. Different from regular herbs, spiritual materials are used to refine pills that raise a cultivator's stage. If you refine a Juki pill using silver heart fruits, you can reach the second stage, but if he's careless, it'll be a headache. The materials for a Juki pill cost a fortune. He thought he was selling talismans quietly, but it looks like he stirred up trouble. Some guys have been following him since the third day he started his business. Our hero wants to see what these trash guys will do once they get closer. All of a sudden, a girl shows up and recognizes our hero at the worst possible time. She noticed Yaemori hasn't been going to campus and asks what he's doing there. She remembers he was kicked out of the clan because his body was weak, and that he doesn't even have time to study. Our protagonist knows she was the only classmate who stood up for the previous owner of this body. She hands him money so he can go back to studying with her. Yaemori doesn't take the money and apologizes because he's got business to handle now. The girl figures he must be dealing with some kind of problem. Meanwhile, the hero notices there are 7 hostile enemies on the left and 3 on the right. He knows he can take all of them out in an instant. Our protagonist starts running, and the knife-wielding enemies chase after him. They go into an alley the MC headed toward. When they get there, they notice there's no way out and start trying to scare him. Yaemori tells them all to come at him at once. The group of 5 scary-looking people stops in front of him, all armed. A bald guy gets ready to fight and says this is going to be fun. Our cultivator asks why they've been watching him and following him for days. The man says he's got some nerve selling items like he hasn't made a massive pile of enemies. They ask why the young mistress of the Amatani clan is interested in a guy like him. That woman was almost the MC's fiancé, and he thinks it's over the top to kill him just because the marriage fell through, so he's going to force the answers out of them. The girl sees the Yakuza members trying to take Yaemori out and is shocked. She thinks he can't beat armed gangsters with the fragile body he has. The girl decides to call the police to save the boy's life. A Yakuza member calls her a lost alley cat and asks what she's doing on her phone. He snatches the phone from her hand with a psycho look on his face. The gang members call him boss and are happy he showed up. Our hero sees Mochiyama being yanked by the hair, aggressively by their leader. The leader calls him a conqueror, because first it was Setsu Amatani, and now this little girl. She screams for Yayamori to run because they're all armed. She also says they can't lay a hand on her because she's the daughter of the Keijo Mochiyama clan. However, the bald gang leader mocks the Mochiyama clan. Then he says that if they bury her there, nobody will ever find out where she went. The girl gets really scared, and the psycho says if she wants to blame someone, it should be her own stupidity. Right as he tries to stab her, the protagonist reacts and charges straight at him. He takes the knife out of his hand and pins him to the wall. Makaima wonders if that really is Yamori. After all, he's really different. Our hero threatens them and says he'll only ask once who sent them there. Somewhere else, they inform Inspector Kaya that the Scarface's group is making moves in the alleys on East Street with a kid involved and a woman being held hostage. The investigator starts driving fast, full of adrenaline, and calls for backup without alerting Chief Onaga. He tells them not to act without thinking, because they're traffickers and they won't hesitate to kill people. With no response, he starts pressing the guy on the radio to see if he heard what he said. But his colleague says, terrified, that they won't need backup anymore. He points out that the kid he mentioned earlier took down the entire Scarface's gang. The bald guy asks if he really is the Yayamori clan's trash, and says his gang won't be beaten that easily. The MC asks if it was the Amatani clan or the Yayamori clan that gave the information, threatening him by saying he has only 3 seconds to answer. Begging, the bald guy asks for more time to answer. Our hero wasn't going to give in, but the police show up and order him to kneel. Inspector Kaya tells him not to finish the man off, or he'll sink to his level. Then the protagonist wonders if the police showing up there was just a coincidence. He could easily create a way out of this situation, but he doesn't want to reveal his real powers. That's why he decides to let the bald guy go. The gang leader, who's in shock that he's still alive. With his current strength, he can't take on the government, and has to give in to police pressure. Kaya finds it hard to believe this kid took down a gang by himself, wiping out all the gangster dealers in one go, all on his own. Kaya Haruki introduces himself to Yayamori as an inspector from the Numi City Police. Mochiyama greets him too, and the inspector says he'll clean up the mess, and they don't need to worry. Rakahara Fumiya, a police officer, also introduces himself to the two of them. Our hero gets worried about the government watching. After all, they saw everything and showed up really fast. They'll need his statement and will only focus on what happened in the incident. The police chief shows up and says they would have let the culprits walk if he hadn't arrived just now. Onaga Raizu accuses the student Yamori and says he's being arrested for assault. He shows the paper with the arrest warrant. Mochiyama is furious. After all, the guys on the ground attacked them first. Onaga says all he saw was the kid beating them up for no reason. Kaya thinks what Raizu is doing is ridiculous, saying everyone knows those men are drug dealers. When the inspector calls them trash, that seems to piss off Superintendent Onaga. He says he could take his badge for challenging his boss. Kaya calls him an asshole, and the bald cop tells him to calm down so he doesn't lose his job. All of a sudden, Yayamori speaks up, telling them to take him in. He knows some big shot in the government pulled some strings to frame our hero. This kind of thing is going to keep happening, and the MC is going to use it to gather information. He asks Onaga how he knew the kid was a student. When he gets questioned about that, the cop gets irritated and realizes he slipped up. After giving a lame excuse, the MC asks if his boss wants him to keep an eye on him. Onaga pretends he doesn't know what our hero is talking about and tells him to get in the squad car. Holding the superintendent's coat button, he says that's a shame. The man is in shock after all. He didn't see him taking his button. Our hero says that next time they meet, he'll take more than just the button. Onaga wants to make him regret that and gets really mad at the student. Some time passes, and inside the prison, a cop bangs his baton on a prisoner's bars. The cop says the target will be there soon and the order is to eliminate him. That sinister prisoner closes his book and says he understands his mission. Our MC arrives at the prison with the guards escorting him and starts checking the place out. When the bars close, he feels like they're planning to attack him. He finds it interesting and wonders if the guy sharing the cell with him is the brains behind the plan. For a long time, that man had a personal rule. He didn't want to beat up a weak kid like him. But this time he got hired, so there's nothing he can do. Our hero asks if he's just another lackey. Yamori felt a burning sensation the moment he walked into this place. He might be weak right now, but he can feel exactly what's coming off Funaki. He sees a really strong aura of spiritual IQ around him. Like a madman, the enemy says he's going to send the MC to another world in seconds. He charges at him with everything, wrapped in spiritual energy. But when he goes in for the attack, the MC disappears. He reappears right in front of him and shoves his hand into Funaki's face. He says he's confused because the only weak person in this room is him. The moment he says that, Yamori slams his body into the floor hard. But he's caught off guard when the villain grabs his leg tight and gets up, throwing the protagonist away. Still, the hero manages to brace himself against the wall and doesn't take damage from it. Funaki underestimated him and is going to make our hero go through a lot of pain. But in the very next moment, he just gets popped in the face. When he looks up, he sees death and tries to defend himself. Even so, he takes a brutal kick that sends him flying to the other side of the cell. Our protagonist stays steady on his feet while his enemy is badly hurt. Funaki runs at him, winding up a massive punch and tells him not to get cocky, but he eats another one, right to the gut, feeling intense pain and flying back again. He keeps wondering why this is happening and Yamori walks up to him again, Radiating a ton of spiritual energy, he throws yet another punch at the enemy, landing it on his face and driving his head into the floor hard. Holding his face against the ground, he asks who sent him there. He also asks where and how he got spiritual IQ. Onaga on the phone asks what kind of monster the student he just arrested is. The person on the other end of the line thinks he's a screw-up from the Yaemori clan, not a monster. The superintendent wouldn't call him a screw-up. After all, he took care of the enemy without much trouble. Meanwhile, our hero waits for an answer from Funaki, who's on the ground beaten up all over. He assumes Yaemori is on a whole different level from ordinary men, like himself and everyone else. Our hero wonders if the people he's talking about are the cultivators of this world. A few years ago, Funaki met an old monk in Ryuja, who channeled his spiritual chi into one hand and sliced a giant tree like it was nothing. That monk gave him a bottle of divine water. As the years went by, he kept drinking the diluted divine water, just like the monk told him to. Little by little, his body changed into something beyond normal. This divine water the protagonist recognizes as spiritual liquid drawn from springs. Spiritual springs only exist in places with a huge concentration of spiritual chi. Our hero asks if Funaki has gone beyond the limits of a normal human, and why he takes orders from them. The villain explains it's because of his son, who suffers from lateral sclerosis. However, the divine water didn't work to cure his illness. That's why he wanted to make money. When our hero hears about ALS, he knows he can fix it. Funaki is stunned and the MC explains that giving spiritual liquid to ordinary people risks hurting them. But he can do it using a talisman. Funaki is surprised and doesn't think something that good could be real. To prove it, the MC uses the talisman on the man and all his wounds heal instantly. Our reincarnated guy is going to give the man a chance. He asks him to reveal the real identity of whoever's behind all this, and his son will be cured. If he refuses, he'll be taken out right now by our hero. Funaki confirms his theory that Yaemori wasn't just some ordinary guy. He says the man who contacted him to take him out was Hashimoto Kosei. Someone on the phone says Onaga got scared of a small fry from the Yaemori clan. That person is Hashimoto Kosei, owner of the Kozan Club, and he's going to pick up where he left off with the person in front of him. He asks the person what cut of meat they want to eat and whether they'd like something to drink. In front of him is a woman, chained up and gagged, desperate, crying. Kosei stands up and says she's a bad girl who doesn't even know basic manners. He yanks the tape off her mouth, hurting the girl, wondering which tooth he'll pull next, so she learns another lesson. After saying that, he pulls one of her teeth with pliers, causing the woman intense pain. His butler warns him that Lord Suma contacted them about Hirata Yaemori's situation. Kosei says he already assigned that job to some thug from Ryuja, and that he'll personally head to the police station later. Either way, he knows that man is destined to become a corpse. Meanwhile, in the cell, Funaki hands over a pendant in exchange for Hiroto's talisman. He sees that in the middle of the cross pendant there's condensed spiritual liquid. He knows that if he uses that liquid on Silverheart grass, it'll produce fruit immediately. Taking the pendant, the MC thanks Funaki for the gift. He warns that from now on, Hashimoto is going to come after our protagonist. And nobody that man sets his sights on gets a decent ending. Hiroto tells him not to worry as long as he keeps their deal in place. About Hashimoto, the MC says he'll make sure to send his regards to him. At Newin University, a classy woman steps out of an expensive car. The woman who bought the talismans didn't believe the boy was the Yaemori clan exile, until she saw the photo with her own eyes and was sure it was him, and the boy is her freshman too. Saki talks to the college president about what happened to the protagonist, but he doesn't want to get involved. But the girl is determined to get him out of the chair. Shizuru walks into the room right then and sees they're talking about Hiroto Yaemori. Meanwhile, in Superintendent Onaga's office, the cop is furious with him. After all, the man is letting a gangster walk out of prison after chasing him for years. Kai accuses the boss of abusing his power. His boss says he has no evidence and accusing a superior of a crime without proof is serious. Kaya says he knows what his boss is planning behind the scenes. Threatening the young cop, the superintendent orders him to say what he knows. However, the cop gets scared and ends up not saying anything. At that moment, Shizuru and Saki arrive at the office, even with a cop trying to stop them. The superintendent gets mad at the guard for not stopping them. He wonders who they even are, since Hiroto didn't seem to have any real backing. He says the girl's friend is suspected of theft and assault and can't be released until trial. Kaya says that's ridiculous, since he wasn't suspected of any of that. The chief says he can't leak information since he's the superintendent. Saki asks why the Yakuza members aren't there. Unaga says he doesn't have to explain anything to them, and he can arrest them for obstructing justice. Shizuru tells him to try doing that to her and sits down while she waits for it. The corrupt guy orders the cops to put these people in the holding room and tells them to shut them up. They're going to be detained on suspicion of being accomplices of Yaemori Hiroto, and Kaya Haruki is suspended for covering for a criminal and will be interrogated. Shizuru asks if Director Ogi is going to stay quiet if he just makes up crimes at random. Unaga threatens her for insulting a national public figure, which makes her crime even more serious. Shizuru says they're setting up coincidences for Superintendent Unaga. The chief gets irritated because she's making things harder. She says Yaemori Hiroto's problem can be solved with money. Unaga says it's normal for influential people to have privileges, and she's no exception. he brings up the time she was attacked by Kaya and fought back desperately. In a threatening, manipulative tone, he says it wouldn't matter if he claimed everyone there lost their lives. Shizuru asks if Director Ogi heard that, and on the phone he says yes, since she called him in the middle of the conversation. The superintendent gets scared when he realizes their whole conversation was heard by Ogi. His boss says that for abuse of power and for threatening a councilman's family, Onaga Raizo is going to be suspended. When she asked if she should introduce herself again, Onaga realized Shizuru is from the councilman's family. Meanwhile, in prison, the MC grabs the pendant with spiritual liquid. Seeing the amount is low, he knows he'll only be able to use the liquid once. He notices someone has arrived at the cell and stays alert. Realizing it's Shizuru, he gets excited to see Hiroto again. Meanwhile, the rich guy smashes everything and says everyone is useless. One is at death's door and the other is rotting in a cell, so they're useless. If the Ama clan's directive isn't carried out, his head will be on a guillotine too. The bodyguard asks Lord Akimasa what he'll do now. To prove his loyalty to the Ama clan, he asks him to bring the boy back alive and says he'll wear his best outfit. He decides he'll get rid of this trash with his own hands. Our hero spent all his money on materials and is completely broke, so he uses his materials to refine the clumped spiritual chi pill. He takes the pill. It's a rough method that leaves the chi condensed and impure, but it'll be useful in this world. With that, he finally reaches level 2 of spiritual chi cultivation. Over the years, he used the cloud shadow method to evolve. At the speed he's at now, not even bullets can hit our protagonist. He used up all the spiritual fluid he got to advance further in the future. He'll need more mana-rich materials. According to Funaki, there are spiritual sources in Ryuda, but taking a normal route will be dangerous, and he's going to talk to the local influential contact Funaki gave him. The costs come to 2 million yen, and in his current account, he's got a laughable amount. On TV he sees an ad for a miracle syringe that makes you look younger. It got popular, and each dose costs a lot of money. Our hero realizes the women in this world are obsessed with youth and sees a chance to make money off that. 5 hours earlier, he was having dinner with Shizuru and can't believe she's Councilman Suga's daughter. That's why she had a direct connection to the superintendent. Suga said he had a favor to ask the MC. That's why he invited him to dinner. He asked if he was familiar with the Sugo building. Our hero knows it for housing the biggest cosmetics headquarters in the city of Numi. Shizuru says her family owns the whole place. The next night she's going to host a gala event to celebrate the recovery of her mother, and she invites Hiroto to attend too. Back in the present, at the Sugao building, the gala starts at the top. Our MC knows that in his current state, he can't craft spiritual pills, only refine elixirs, so he's going to make some good money doing this low-level cosmetic. The opportunity is right in front of him when he sees the rich women at the party. Shizuru's uncles say that a woman in her 30s isn't young anymore and should just settle down, saying that if she doesn't get married soon she'll end up just like her older sister Masami. The uncle tells Masami that because she was selfish when she was young she can't contribute to the clan now that she's old. He also says she was unlucky, and she has nothing to say back to that. Shizuru and her mom tell the man to shut up. After all, Masami was the one who raised him after grandma left. Shiro says he's only saying it for everyone's sake and that they need to find Shiro a husband as soon as possible. He suggests she marry someone from the Ocho clan to avoid friction with them. Masami says she has her own reasons for not accepting that, but the annoying guy calls her selfish and says she'll never get back the beauty she had when she was young. Right then, Yamori shows up saying he can do that. He says Shiro was disrespectful for calling her damaged goods. Shiro gets pissed at Hiroto and asks who he is. He starts calling for security, until Shiro steps in saying she invited him because he saved her mom. Her mom thanks him directly for selling the talisman that saved her life. Our protagonist is kind and tells her she doesn't need to thank him. Shiro thinks they fell for some con artist scam and that she woke up thanks to modern medicine. Hiroto finally introduces himself as a researcher focused on time and value. He's also a business partner of President Suga. Everyone thinks it makes no sense for him to be her partner and be in this setting, since they're talking about youth through products. So he decides to show the answer to that inside the box he's holding. Shizuru's aunt thinks it's funny and wants to see what kind of trick he's going to pull. He approaches Masami, asking her to give him her hand. Then he asks her to take the product that's inside the box. Shizuru starts yelling, accusing him of putting poison in that sketchy pill. The woman asks if it's safe to drink that. Shizuru says he's trustworthy and decides to take the pill herself. Her mom decides to join in too, since the man saved her life. The businessmen say there's no such thing as an elixir of youth in real life. Our hero whispers in Masami's ear, asking if she doesn't want to feel young again. She cries after all the men call her old and insult her for her age. Determined, she takes the pill with confidence and swallows it. The Suga family uncles can't believe she actually did it. Seeing that nothing happened, they think it was poison or just a scam. Shiro points his finger, all smug, saying he knew it was a scam, until all of a sudden Masami's hair and skin start to change, completely transforming into a younger version of herself. That leaves all the partners and family members in total shock. The rich older women ask him to name a price and offer him insane amounts of money. They start offering more and more like it's an auction. The family knows that if they get the rights to it, they'll dominate the cosmetics industry again. But the company goes under, and the uncle tells the woman to be quiet, since his plan to become a billionaire is totally set now. The Kozen group offers 4 million for the rights to the product. Then the Rinkyo group offers 20 million. Shiryu says he's Shizuru's guest, and that this isn't an auction. After telling everyone to calm down, he goes over to talk business with Hiroto. Shiryu offers 30 million and a 70-30 split of the sales. But really he wants 70% of the sales and to leave our MC with 30%, saying the Hoshisu clan's connections will help him a lot. However, Shizuru says the Hoshisu clan doesn't have connections anymore. Shuri gets angry because they're family, and she should watch what she says. He says she didn't care about the family at all when she lost 160 million of grandma's money. Pulling the Ocho clan's funds, the bank demands letters and asks if it should list them. Shizuru's mom asks if he ruined her mother's company. Shiro, shocked, asks how they found out. The girl knows he came to the event to suck her mom's money dry, just like he did with their grandma. She says she won't give a single cent to her maniac uncle, when he's the one plotting to profit. With no capital, he doesn't even have those 30 million. When she accuses him of trying to scam her mom, Shiro says that's not true. He drops to his knees, begs, and plays the "we're siblings" card. Annoyed, she says he let her down and that she helped his company because he said he'd changed. Kneeling and humiliating himself, he says she always helped him and covered for him. But she says she can't ignore his selfishness. After all, he destroyed their mother's legacy. She stands up from the chair and tells him to clean up his own mess. Shocked, Shiro asks if she's cutting him out of the company's business. Shizuru gives him the option of facing court and paying for what he did for the rest of his life, or selling his company to her for 1 yen. Suga tells Yaomori there are real pros at this party who can do business. He says he'll introduce them to our protagonist. 40 million is fair for him, and he should keep 80%. And he needs to be careful, because everyone there is a vulture. Hiroto trusts her to handle the business side of things. After the fancy event, she gets in the car and they head to his place. She notices the place is huge, and he modestly says it's rented. He thanks her for the ride, since it saved him a long walk. Right then, the woman says they're friends and he doesn't need to thank her. When he's surprised she called him a friend, Shizuru doubles down with a friendly smile. On the way home, our hero thinks it over, and realizes this new life isn't so bad. But when he opens his front door, he sees a puddle of ketchup, and his dog looking beaten down. The moment he arrived, the thug Kusei sent called him and warned him he was coming with a woman. Kusei thinks that's perfect, and orders them to capture the woman. He figures if he gets a taste of despair, Lord Sumo will be satisfied. He hopes he likes the present they left. Our hero sprints toward the little guy and pulls out the knife. He throws his healing talisman and notices he's breathing, and he'll be able to save him with the item. However, right above him there's a man hanging from the ceiling with a knife in his mouth. He tries to attack, but the MC dodges and counters, leaving the other thugs in shock, while telling his dog to hide. Then he looks at the rest of the thugs and asks if they want to be taken down one by one. They all rush him at once, but our John Wick drops the first one. Another tries to attack but misses. He ends up with a messed up arm and then gets turned into a memory. The thugs change plans and grab firearms to start shooting at him. But right now, not even bullets can touch our boy. Meanwhile, the psycho blonde starts grabbing tools to do some nasty stuff. He moves in on Shizuru, who's crying in fear. The psycho asks if she really is Shizuru Suga, Kenji Suga's daughter. Suddenly he gets a call on his phone and is told all his underlings were defeated. He's stunned to find out they couldn't beat Hiroto. When he hears Yaomori's voice, he says he really knows how to surprise people. The blonde warns our MC that he kidnapped the Suga family's daughter. Our hero says he's on his way there and tells him not to do anything to her, and not to drag innocence into this. On the phone, Kause curses our MC out for ruining his plans, and says he has 40 minutes. Yaomori crushes the phone in his hands, so angry, and promises to find Hashimoto. Kause plans to film a trailer for this video. He pulls the tape off her mouth, and his guards start banging on his door. Annoyed, he asks what the emergency is, and his guards tell him the fire suppression system was activated in the warehouse. Kause had them remove the warehouse alarms in case the police showed up there. At that moment, the woman closes her eyes because she's exhausted, until out of nowhere, the guards go flying from the impact. With no strength left, the woman starts calling for Hiroto Yaomori, assuming it's him. 1 hour earlier, Funaki, in the middle of the night, went to deliver an introduction letter to Ryuja. He got no answer on the phone and stops his bike at what should be the right address. Funaki wonders if he's standing in front of Yaomori's house. Then they tell Hashimoto that Hiroto Yaomori is back home, and Funaki hears it. He goes after them and sees the thugs who were planning to take out our MC. They also captured the woman in the meantime and put her inside a car. Funaki saw what Kause did, kidnapping Hiroto's woman and trying to kill him, sending assassins to his house. He started following the car that took Suga and sent the coordinates to the protagonist. Meanwhile, he interrogated one of the assassins who was in his house and made him spill everything. Hiroto asks the favor from Funaki, asking him to get his friend out of there, but he wants to take out the blonde guy with his own hands. Kause is furious at his guards because he demanded they cut the warehouse fire alarms. He says he'll check what's going on and tells them to stay on guard, while Funaki has already broken into the place. His security guys complain about this whole situation with the girl's kidnapping and his demands, until they notice the arrival of the buff guy, giving off spiritual energy. They ask who he is and what he's doing there. With a creepy look on his face, he tells them to be patient and attacks them with his colossal strength. He throws the guards away and finishes them off with his fists. Reaching the room where Suga is, and with her thinking it was Hiroto, Funaki knows Yayamori owes him one, and the man takes the woman away from the place, getting out of there as fast as he can with the woman over his shoulders, before they realize what he's doing. The car is in the garden behind the door in front of him, and he knows they'll check the security system soon, until all of a sudden he gets hit by a projectile shot in the leg, and falls to the ground dropping the woman. Kause says his shooting accuracy hasn't dropped one bit, and that the shot was brilliant. Funaki wonders why they came back so fast and how he got caught like this already. Hashimoto says the guy had a lot of nerve showing up like that at his mansion. The buff guy and Kause haven't seen each other in a long time, and they bring that up. Kause thinks today is great because everyone came there to be punished by him. That makes him tremble with excitement at the situation. Funaki thinks he's mistaken and that he won't be saying that after getting taken out by him. Meanwhile, outside, our hero arrives, and the guards notice his presence. He shows up imposing, giving off a red aura from how angry he is. The guards ask if they can help him, and the protagonist already hits them without saying a word. He smashes one guy's face in, and he goes flying and destroys the front gate. The next one who comes at him, the same thing happens and he wins with a single blow. Then he starts taking all of them down at once, without much trouble. At that same moment, Funaki has trouble facing all the guards and starts getting hurt. He thinks he shouldn't have taken this job and that he can't even manage to save one girl. Kause says that after he kills the man, he'll send his kids and his wife to the other side to keep him company. But first, the psychopath plans to leave them in pieces. Right then, the front door is blown open with an explosion, and Hashimoto stops talking. He wonders who did that, and a silhouette appears behind the smoke. Our protagonist says the Reaper sent him to take Kause to the underworld. Funaki says the kid took long enough and hands his partner a healing talisman, saying it'll work just like last time. The guards and Hashimoto start firing their guns, and the protagonist starts running, dodging the shots since bullets are useless against a second-stage cultivator. Kause is shocked by his speed, and right after that, two more get taken down. Seeing this, the blonde guy gets scared and starts running out the back door. Hashimoto didn't expect that and wants to run too, because he moves like a martial arts clan member. Desperate, he starts mashing the elevator button so it'll come fast and he can escape. The elevator doesn't come, and one of his guards gets thrown against the door, leaving the blonde guy in shock, telling Hiroto to calm down, hinting that the one who wants him eliminated is Lord Ima and that Kause is protected by him. Our hero has never heard of him and says the blonde guy is going to wish he wasn't alive from how much he's going to suffer. Terrified, Hashimoto lets slip that Elder Joe wants him dead for getting involved with the Amatani clan's daughter. The MC searches his memories, but he didn't have any with Setsu Amatani, so he thinks it might have been a setup. Kause says only the Amatani clan could have set all this up and tries to convince Hiroto to let him go, saying Setsu and the Amatani clan are very powerful and experienced. Kause says that if he lets him go, he'll speak well of him, and that he'll realize the value of that later. Hiroto thinks he's worth nothing, and throws a brutal punch into his face. That drives him into the ground and then drags him from the massive impact. Breaking down the door to the place, our hero finds the women he kidnapped, picking up a knife and walking toward them. But he frees all of them from the restraints that were holding them, saying they're going to explain his value to him themselves. He throws the knife on the floor in front of them and says that the women can decide what they're going to do with him. Hashimoto, injured, tries to say he has value and money to help the MC, but Yamori doesn't care, and the women grab the knife and go after him, saying they don't want his money, and the only payment they want is to see him dead. After that, the reincarnated guy heals Suga with his green talisman. Our hero tells Funaki to leave. After all, he called the cops and they're already on their way. He says he'll come back right after handing her over to the police and making sure she's safe. Funaki knows he has the information she needs and wants to know his next move. Our hero says he's going to investigate the Ima clan and destroy them. Our hero defeated Hashimoto, but Suma is still out there somewhere. So he started training hard, and he's going to find his location as fast as possible and take him down. All of a sudden, someone rings the doorbell and he wonders who it is at this hour. He gets an invitation from President Suga with a message saying they'll leave as soon as his preparations are complete. He doesn't understand what she means by leave. He calls her saying he got the invitation and asks what the suit is for. She tells him to look inside the invitation, and it shows it'll be a party hosted by the Hashisu family. Our MC is surprised he got invited to a Hashisu party. Shizuru says selling the Zhuyurin pill will bring them closer to the family and that they'll dominate the pharma market in the city of Numi. On top of that, it looks like his ex-fiancée will be at the event. He realizes it's Setsu, the young mistress of the Atani clan. So he puts on the suit and goes to the Hashisu family party. He notices Mr. Pierce and Akai Taro, who are part of the Kentaka group, the big shots in the city's business world. Our MC asks if they also want to get close to the Hashisu tonight. Even though he was born into a prestigious family, he has no idea just how huge they are. People came to this party desperate to make connections for business. At that moment, the head of the Hashisu family arrives, Amatani Setsu. Our reincarnated guy notices there's spiritual chi around her. He wonders if she's the original owner of Hiroto's ex-fiancée's body. Hashisu Nana, the family leader, is next to Setsu, and the MC suspects she's reincarnated too. He wonders if she's a cultivator, and if she has unique cultivation methods in this world too. He figures she must be really confident, after all. She's not hiding her chi. If it's her, she must know about Soma, and he'll ask later. Shizuru goes to talk to her aunt and compliments her looks, saying she looks great. Nana asks how her mother is. After all, she heard she woke up from the coma, and seems to be doing well. Shizuru thanks her for the concern, and Suga says she's recovering little by little. She says she bought the Zuyan pill for her mother, and shows them the latest model in her hand. She pitches it, saying it keeps you beautiful forever, and Nana has heard the rumors about the pill. People find out it's the last pill available, and that the price is insane. Nana notices the quality is good, and that's why it's called the pinnacle of spiritual pills, and it's not for sale anywhere else. She asks who refined the pill, and Hiroto introduces his friend and partner. When Setsu hears the name Hiroto Yayamori, she's shocked. Nana is surprised because she knew him when he was a kid, and now he's grown a lot and become a man. She says the Yayamori clan has no eye for talent. After all, the boy refined the pill at such a young age. Setsu frowns and says his skills won't be useful to this family, because with their status, what they want is cultivation techniques. Just like the MC expected, a prestigious family has already mastered mana cultivation methods, even if they're awful compared to his world. Nana asks who his master is, making our hero remember a red-haired woman. But he says it's just a hobby, and he doesn't have a master. And when he's about to say more, he's interrupted by a man who comes over to talk to his aunt Nana. No one knows who he is, but they explain he's a partner of the Suma family, and was at Keiju's party last year. Nana is happy he came and calls this man Joe. Our protagonist stays alert, because he remembers what his enemy said. The guy says Setsu will be mad at him if he did something wrong at Nana's birthday. Nana introduces the young mistress of the Suga family to Shizuru. After he asks who she is, Sumajo is captivated by her beauty and says it's a pleasure to meet her. Then he comments that he's heard good things about the protagonist and asks who he is. Hindin notices he's pretending and wonders how long he plans to play dumb. According to Hashimoto, Sumajo is supposedly a cultivator, but when he tries to scan him looking for inner IQ, he realizes the guy is empty. After the handshake, Joe says it was a pleasure meeting Hindinoda Yayamori. Then he greets Setsu, and our MC keeps finding him weird, because while they were talking he couldn't feel any fluctuations and thinks he's not a cultivator after all. Even when he heard his name, he didn't feel any killing intent coming from Suma. Dinner happens and everyone dressed up eats at the same table. Some fancy guy tells everyone to gather in the hall to dance after the meal. The couples start dancing slowly, and the MC in the bathroom is still thinking about Joe not being a cultivator. He wonders if he got played and what reason the blonde guy would have to do that to him. Some random man comes up and asks Shizuru to dance, but she refuses. Someone tells him Shizuru is the young mistress of the Suga clan and wouldn't dance with him. Everyone who asks her gets rejected. Even the heir from the Katagiri family got turned down by her. Right when the man is talking about what kind of man she would accept, he gets blindsided. His friend points to the scene that's got everyone in shock at the ball. Shizuru inviting Hiroto Yayamori to dance with her. Meanwhile, Joe leaves the party, getting into the limousine. He tells his guards not to let anyone come close. They obey, and Suma drives off. The guards wonder what Joe and someone else are doing in private. They've heard that Joe's guards end up losing their heads and don't even recognize their families afterward. They've heard the guards get swapped out day after day, and the last one suddenly disappeared. Suma gets slapped and gets chewed out for holding another woman's hand right in front of Setsu. The man apologizes, but a man with golden rings releases spiritual energy and says he'll only keep him alive because he thinks he still has the tiniest bit of use. But if he can't handle a simple task he's about to demand, he'll be eliminated soon enough. This is the original Suma Joe, the clan descendant, not the imposter who went to the party. The real Lord Joe gets out of the car and tells two guards to follow him to the hall. The guards notice the rumors were true, and only one person got out of the car with Suma. They wonder what happened in the limousine, and we see the disguised Joe tied up and completely restrained in the back seat. Back at the party, the real Joe apologizes to Setsu, because something urgent came up that he has to deal with. He notices Shizuru Suga is dancing with a man and can't believe it. After all, he's never seen the man she's dancing with right now. The two dance to the piano melody and look like they're staring at each other like they're in love. Until our MC pulls her closer to his body and she says he dances really well. She says that if they want to sell the Zuian pill to the Hoshisu clan, he needs to fit the vibe of the party. The body's original owner learned ballroom dancing, and thanks to the second stage of cultivation, his balance is flawless. Nana asks if Setsu didn't know about the boy's insane dancing skill, and she says that even if he's a good dancer, he's still just a commoner. Nana notices the girl was watching everything closely. Jomor notices Yamori has talent for dancing too. Suma tells Nana he just met Hiroto, and she didn't expect that. Even with the power of the Ama clan, Nana asks if he can't look into the past of a renegade child. Suma says they don't want to cause trouble in the city of Neumi, because it's Hoshisu clan territory. Nana thinks the means don't matter. After all, Hiroto's aptitude for alchemy is extraordinary. She just wants to tie his potential to the clan's future. She doesn't want to leave him running loose in the world any longer. Suma thinks Nana is threatening him, and that if Setsu weren't there, he would have gotten rid of her a long time ago, and he thinks about what to do with the trash that is Hiroto Yamori. The guests start gossiping about the MC annoying the protagonist's ex-wife, who says she's leaving. At that moment, she walks up to Yamori and says she knows exactly what he's thinking. And like she's the last cookie in the box, she blurts out that getting close to her is pointless. Our protagonist wonders what the blue-haired girl is talking about. Annoyed, the girl thinks refining pills won't make him rich and will only cover his living expenses. Our hero takes a sip of wine and doesn't answer, while she tells him to focus on himself and not on her. Hiroto snaps back hard, asking who she's even talking about in that little speech. She says the spiritual chi she's giving off isn't on purpose. It's because she doesn't know how to control it. The girl is shocked and asks how he knows that. He warns her that forcing cultivation can speed up absorption, but it'll destroy her body. She asks how a mere mortal could know that, and the MC says he can fix her problem. The girl doesn't seem willing to believe his pointless accusation. Hiroto tells her to believe whatever she wants, and he doesn't care if she refuses and loses her body. After all, the girl is running out of time and he wanted to help. She can think of it as a business deal, and he has a request for her. There's something he wants to ask Imajo. When he whispers what he wants in her ear, the jealous guy watches from afar, furious. At the end of the party, all the couples leave, heading to their cars. Nana catches up to the two of them as they're leaving together. She's interested in the Zuyuan pill and asks them to spare a moment to talk. Noticing she came to talk in person, he figures she wants more than just the pill. She says the protagonist and Suga have a lot in common, since after her parents died, her uncle started deciding her whole life. Luckily, she was recognized as a cultivator and loosened the chains that were holding her down. Now the MC understood why the girl's body is basically destroying itself, since she's trading her lifespan for a higher cultivation foundation. Nana is telling him this because she did everything she could to help Setsu, but her condition can't be cured. Just like Shizuru's mother, nothing works on the madam. That's why she wants our hero's help to save the girl. Aunt Nana is the president of the Traditional Medicine Association and trusts Hiroto more than doctors do. Even though it's true he can refine talismans in addition to pills, he realizes the legendary business cultivator they were talking about was him. Our hero compares it to the Ruyi continent, where cultivation methods were primitive. Besides that, Nana is also interested in the pill he's carrying and wants to do business with him on behalf of the Hoshisu clan. With Auntie in control, the profits from the pill went up tenfold according to Suga. Auntie makes the request for help with Setsu official because she's a kind, delicate girl who deserves to be saved. When the marriage was annulled, she rebelled once, and that information surprises the MC. Suma steps outside the mansion and runs into Aunt Nana. After paying his respects before leaving, he notices Yamori and Shizuru with her. He thanks our hero and holds out his hand for a handshake, says he'd be delighted. If their paths cross again, Hiroto says he feels the same and that they'll meet again soon. The moment the MC grabs Sumajo's hand, he feels something weird. He feels a lot of spiritual chi radiating from him, different from before. After that, Joe gets into the limousine and his bodyguard says there's a gift from Madame Setsu. When he opens Setsu's gift, he gets a butterfly origami and wonders what it means. He doesn't care and tells the fake Suma to hold onto it for him and not open it without permission. He noticed Hiroto is the same trash as before. He puts on his ring and lightning starts shooting out of it. Then he tells everyone close to the MC to wait, since they're going to die by his own hand. Meanwhile, the imposter holds the box with the butterfly origami, which glows green. Then we see that our MC was listening to all of this. We cut to another place where Nana is analyzing some flowers, until all of a sudden someone shows up and gets her attention, and she quickly turns around. A man radiating spiritual chi says he expected that from the one called the Genius of the 100 Herbs sect. Even with his serious injuries and his cultivation destroyed, his ability to sense spiritual chi is still as sharp as ever. Nana asks who this cultivator monk is, who showed up out of nowhere. If he's just an enemy, she plans to escape and not fight. The monk knows she's the leader of the Hoshisu clan, and is sure she isn't planning to run. Like the saying goes, a lion uses its full strength even when hunting a rabbit. Even with her abilities declining, the two of them are going to go at each other with everything they've got. Nana notices he's being cautious and asks what his goal is there. The monk wants her to go with them and not try anything stupid. Another monk shows up and thinks it'd be easier to break her arms and legs. Nana touches one of the plants that gives off a strange energy. She says she'll make sure to keep them entertained properly. The skinny monk covers his nose and mouth and tries to figure out what that purple dust in the air is. The fat monk covers his mouth and notices it's poison. As long as she keeps the green heartgrass in her mouth, the poison's effect won't affect her. This poison will buy her some time to think about what to do, and she'll try to escape while she still can. But a black shadow with red eyes rushes at her and captures her. That means the man in the suit who showed up is from the secret shadow cult. The man says it's true that he belongs to the Hidden Shadows sect, and that he destroyed the sect of 100 Herbs that day. Nana says that day hasn't come yet, and there's no way they'd reveal themselves now. When she looks at his face, she's shocked by what she sees. Joe with Yanomori's face, saying he's going to finish off the leader of the Hoshisu clan. Meanwhile, the guards use the shift change to eat and rest. They start arguing about what they're going to eat and what Master Joe is going to want to eat. Leaving the room, he uses the Shadow Cloud steps. He enters Joe's room with the green butterfly in his hand. He lets the green butterfly go to detect his target's presence. He notices the man isn't inside that place. Meanwhile, the fake Joe is in a room eating instant noodles and watching shows. He gets really pissed that he has to put up with this horrible treatment just because he looks like Suma Joe. He remembers the threats he got from the real Joe in case anyone found out about their scam, saying he was just a fake being kept alive by him and would never become someone real. Annoyed, he decides not to follow the order not to open the box he was given, so he opens it, and the green origami butterfly starts flying around the room. The fake doesn't understand what that is, and behind him the MC appears. He asks if he recognized him and now understands why he didn't feel any spiritual IQ. As he gets closer, he says he's a fake and asks where the real Ima Joe is. Somewhere else we see a group of extras waiting for the MC to show up, and he's walking along thinking about how there's a spiritual vessel in this world. That means some really strong guy is backing these families, because in a world with weak energy it should be impossible to forge a vessel like that. But if the Suma family has a source of spiritual energy, the story changes. As soon as he solves this problem, he'll look for Ryuja's source as fast as possible and level up. The thugs corner him and say he made them wait too long. They say someone paid them a lot of money to see him taken down, and that they want to mess with him a bit before that. But when the MC gives them a hard stare, the guys are already shaking. Their leader tells the others to go at him, and they all start running toward Hiroto, weapons in hand. The gang leader thinks it's impossible for them to lose. After all, he brought his best and most skilled men for the job. In an instant, all of them get thrown back by the impact of our hero's strike, leaving their boss stunned by his abyssal strength. Our MC throws a punch with aura in his hand, and sends another enemy flying and in a lot of pain. The leader thinks this is impossible, and wonders if he's even human. Our hero asks who ordered them to attack him. Meanwhile, at Nana Hashisu's house, the girl Setsu investigates the crime scene with her guards. One of them shows the rooftop cameras around 1 a.m., when 2 monks showed up to attack her. The recording ends there when they're breaking into the house through the roof, and they believe Nana was kidnapped. There were 3 criminals, and one of them got a perfect image of the man's face. They say he was at the party that day and that it's Yamari Hiroto, and Setsu can't believe it. She grabs her car and her phone with the clip of the video where he appears and heads to a house. Someone gave her the address, and she went there, to the place she was told. Standing in front of the house, furious at Yamari, she's not going to let it slide. That he went after her relative. A man with a broken arm asks if she has business to settle with Hiroto. Angry that these people kidnapped her aunt, she tells the subordinate to take her to him. Her subordinate says he's inside the mansion right now and points the way for her. She sees several subordinates, all injured, and wonders if they're commoners or not. She notices another butler, all beat up, handing water to our protagonist, until he notices Setsu's presence, and she arrives furious, yelling at the MC, accusing him and demanding that his lackeys free her aunt, and that if he does, she'll let this incident slide. Our hero has no idea what she's talking about, lackeys and about her aunt. Furious, she points a finger at him, accusing him of kidnapping her aunt. Hiroto didn't know Nana had been kidnapped and doesn't understand why Setsu suspects him. She tells him to stop playing dumb. After all, she has proof, and he didn't expect it, but he was caught on the house cameras. He knows the man in the video used a spiritual vessel and transformed his face to kidnap Aunt Nana. Setsu powers up her body and tells him to give her aunt back right now or she'll use her cultivator strength against him. Our MC says he wasn't there and asks his new subordinate to confirm it. When she asks the subordinate's version, they say they stayed by his side all night. Then she asks how his face shows up clearly in the footage if he spent the night there. Our hero shows a video from a different location, with Suma Joe's face sitting there, sad but it's a fake. In the video, Yasuhiro Yosa explains he's Suma Joe's double, and was normally his guard, but at that party he became his stand-in. He admits he uses a ring to take on other people's faces and only reveals himself in limited places. Setsu is shocked that he has the power to change faces. Our MC explains he has a spiritual vessel with that transformation function. She's blown away that Suma has a spiritual vessel, an item passed down generation to generation in noble families. Joe tried to piss her off by kidnapping Nana with his face, and that way he could pin the crime on him easily, and then get rid of him to have Setsu. She plans to go after Suma and frame him, but the MC warns that her aunt will be in danger if she does that. Annoyed, she asks him what she's supposed to do, just watch quietly and do nothing. Our hero knows a way to use his scheme against Joe himself, and he's going to make him dig his own grave. Meanwhile, we see Lord Suma using his abilities to drain people's life energy. He thinks these commoners are boring to absorb and keeps getting stronger. The fat monk says normal humans aren't ready for the side effects of his training. If he drains the members of the 100 Herb sect, he'll be able to fully master the art of shadows. If he reaches cultivation level 1, he'll earn a position with the elder of the Ama family. If that happens, he'll recommend the monk to his master in the Zen sect. The monk thanks him because it would be an honor, and the skinny monk says Kosaka captured Yayamori last night and they ask what to do with him. Suma says to make sure he's taken to Kogen Temple, and that they shouldn't kill him yet. After ripping out his own tongue, he'll let Yuki finish him off. At Kogen Temple, a man tells the lackeys to keep quiet, because they have orders to look after the artifacts there. A guard says they're tired of hiding behind the authorities like cowards. Then Boss Joe shows up, and everyone pretends they weren't talking about him, and greets him. Thinking he's there for an inspection, they ask him to look everything over carefully. he tells Harigaya to make everyone throw their communicators away when they leave the temple. After getting the order, Harigaya is shocked. After all, Lord Joe called him by name, and that never happens. The guards at the temple pull up with a van and say to take Yaemori to Suma, and a masked person tells him not to do anything stupid. When Hiroto arrives at the temple, the white-haired man is happy they're meeting again. Our MC asks Ima what exactly he's planning. In response, he says he didn't expect this day to come, since there was trust at the private party. With a twisted look, he calls Yaemori a worthless bug for daring to talk to Yuki in front of him, saying his biggest mistake was working for Hashimoto, and that he should have taken Hiroto out himself. Hashimoto worked for him, and Yaemori wants to understand why he's going this far because of him. Suma's reason is obvious. He's Yuki's ex-fiancé, and it eats at the man. After all, she's perfect and was born to be his and no one else's. Our hero is shocked that this is why he's being hunted. Joe says killing him would be a waste right now, and a bug like him wouldn't understand that because he'll never experience a divine act. Seeing the spiritual aura around him, the MC thinks he's trying to summon a powerful ability. Nana Hoshisu's life force is really powerful, even if she and her technique were useless when she was alive. If you absorb her shadow, you'll become a cultivator, and then you can be called a deity. Our hero asks if it would be better for the Lord to get rid of him now. Then Joe thinks Yuki wants to get rid of him more than anything right now, and he purposely left the recording of Nana's kidnapping, which means the one who kidnapped her and took her out was him, and he says that while reshaping his face into Hiroto's, our hero understands Joe's plan, that he's using his face, and says it loud and clear. Suma doesn't get it, until the guard in a mask and cap takes off the disguise, revealing it's Yuki Setsu, saying she heard everything loud and clear, and now knows the truth about her aunt's kidnapping, leaving him in shock after all. The blue-haired girl wasn't supposed to be there hearing all of it. He pretends his aunt is fine and alive, and that everything he said was a joke, just to scare her. Yuki doesn't care about his excuses and demands they bring her aunt back, as she releases spiritual aura. Otherwise, he and the Ama family are going to pay dearly for what they did. He says Yaemori used him, and the MC replies that he confessed everything on his own, which means he's a complete idiot, and Joe is stunned that his plan got exposed. Yuki already talked to the Hoshikawa family and says he can step back, since this isn't a situation for normal people like him. Suma warns that he's a cultivator too and orders his monk to attack him because he got confident in front of Yuki. The girl steps in front of Hiroto and says she won't allow them to attack him, putting herself in front of him. The two monks start channeling energy and Suma tells Yuki to listen carefully to what he's about to say, saying that if she gets between the two of them, he'll make a phone call and end her aunt's life, since she's in his hands. He tells her to choose between Yaemori's life or her aunt's. Hiroto tells Setsu not to worry. After all, her aunt Nana has already been rescued and is safe. Suma is shocked. He got past all the guards and rescued the woman, which should have been impossible. Watching the footage of her being rescued, he can't believe this is happening. 15 minutes earlier at Kogen Temple on the mountain trail, we see everything that happened. When all the guards were gathered with Nana, Joe's order was that they weren't to move until he called. Then he looked around to see if no one followed him and saw a message from his guard who betrayed him, telling everything to Yaemori. Hiroto and Yuki wonder if Hiroto predicted all of this would happen. After all, he rescued her aunt really fast. They wonder if he's really the Yaemori they knew. Suma and Joe order the monks to take Hiroto down and they rush the boy. In response, Yuki also charges at them, but the monks activate a spell. Pink mana arms grab her arms and legs, stopping her from moving. While she's trapped, unable to react, Joe tells her to watch Yaemori's pathetic death. The girl gets scared as the monks go after the boy, telling Yuki she can't protect anyone. She starts blaming herself for underestimating Ima Joe and for not having come there. At that moment, the MC dodges the monk's combined punch, coming at him with everything. He kicks one in the face and slams the other into the ground with all his strength. Yuki sees Hiroto Yaemori's real strength and is surprised. The monk who got thrown spins in place, gets up, and wastes his substitution talisman he'd been given. Suddenly, the protagonist appears behind him like a monster, winding up another punch. Seeing how fast he moves, Suma thinks no human should be like that. Then he realizes Yaemori is a cultivator and sees his spiritual aura pouring out really strongly. At that moment, Yuki is sure he really is a cultivator. The MC has been wanting to meet him for a while after all. He used his men to capture him and attack him. He plotted his murder using Hashimoto Akimasa, and also kidnapped his friends and attacked his pet. He remembers someone saying that having him buzzing around like a fly was really annoying. That's why our hero wants to finish the man off as fast as he can. Since our hero is a cultivator, Suma is going to use something he didn't plan to, because the price to pay is really high. And then a giant being made of spiritual energy starts to form around him. The two fallen monks get consumed by that weird purple energy. Our MC knows a transmission technique made humans in this world develop methods like what Joe is using. Those useless monks are part of that, and Joe wants to get stronger. He's going to absorb the cultivators to make his shadow technique stronger. Absorbing one would already refine it. Absorbing two will put him on a whole other level. After absorbing the monks who end up drained on the ground with no life force, he raises his cultivator stage. Our hero is shocked that he absorbed two people's cultivation at the same time and got stronger. The monster around him opens an eye and keeps getting bigger, radiating more energy, and Suma says Yayamori is going to be the next one to get absorbed. Setsu underestimated Lord Joe and never imagined he had this kind of overwhelming power. She feels like it's her fault for bringing our MC to this place to suffer. She yells at Suma to leave Yayamori out of this. After all, his problem is with her. Annoyed, he's mad that she's been protecting that trash until now. He starts unleashing even more spiritual power, and the monster behind him gets bigger and radiates more. He charges at Hiroto, wanting to send him to hell. He's so furious at him. When he swings an attack with the claw of that giant energy monster, the girl screams for the boy to run and get away. When it looks like the claw hit our hero, we see he dodged it flawlessly. He stops next to Setsu and releases even more spiritual energy, creating protection for both of them. With pink spiritual chi around his hand, the enemy gets pissed that he dodged his strike. Our hero activates Cultivation Stage 1, and a blue aura appears around him, managing to suppress the villain's aura. He says his technique wasn't anything impressive. Setsu notices he's stronger than Lord Ima, and the pressure in the air weighs on her because of his energy. Our MC shoots in at the target and kicks him in the chest, channeling energy which makes the hit stronger. Wounded and furious, he has his spiritual chi monster attack him. The creature formed from his spiritual chi rushes at Hiroto, with everything it's got, huge and overwhelming. The villain yells at him as he attacks, trying to wipe him out once and for all. A blast of pink energy comes at our hero, and he reacts by creating a shield with his spiritual chi. Joe sees him using stage 2 to defend himself, and calls him a failure, who's going to get absorbed by his shadow technique. Our hero holds his arms out to block the blow from his manic enemy. After getting through the attack, he rushes him with a punch and says the shadow technique is pointless when it's put up against absolute power. Our protagonist slams the ground with a massive energy-wrapped punch, and the ground starts cracking. He says he's got Lord Suma, and pulls a one-eyed pink energy creature out of the ground. He knows the shadow technique uses parasites that feed on the host's energy, and he managed to capture the parasite. He crushes it in his hand, and by doing that weakens the villain, who loses his shadow technique and feels pain. Outraged on the ground, the villain keeps wondering how he took down a noble. He yells at him not to think he defeated a descendant of the Amiya family, and that his grandpa is still alive. If Hiroto takes out Joe, the Hidden Shadow sect will send assassins to kill him. Our protagonist notices there are cultivator sects in this world too, including the Hidden Shadow sect. In a frenzy, the villain asks if Yayamori knows what that means, and says he's nothing but a worthless pig. Hiroto walks toward him without saying anything, while he screams that if he kills him, he'll bring disaster on his own life. Lying on the ground, he gets more and more scared, asking why Yamori is getting so close to him. He swears his clan will come after him to assassinate him, and tells him not to finish what he's about to do, saying that if he spares him, he'll guarantee his survival, and he apologizes for what he did to Hiroto. He starts begging to be spared, and our hero says it ends now. He throws a massive brutal punch that drives him into the ground and creates a devastating shockwave that reaches Setsu. With a terrifying look, he finishes Suma Joe, who's crushed into the ground, defeated. Our hero says it's over, and he got word that Nana is fine and has already come back. Setsu thanks him and says she thought he was just an ordinary person this whole time, not a cultivator. She realizes that in the end she was the one who didn't know anything. Our MC says that even if she didn't show up, he was already ready to fight the villain alone. He takes Amima's spiritual vessel, which is pretty rough looking, and makes it obvious it was made by a stage 4 cultivator. The woman asks why he got kicked out of the clan if he's that strong. He could have even been the head of the family. Our hero says he has nothing to do with that family anymore, and says he's still not that strong since he hasn't reached the 3rd stage yet. The girl is aiming for that cultivation stage, so she can get away from the Amitani family and become a free, officially recognized cultivator. Like he promised, Yamori is going to fix the problem with her body, which is almost about to explode. He shows her a dispersal pill, which will release the energy trapped and built up in her body that's destroying her. When she hears about releasing her energy, she wonders if she'll lose her cultivation abilities. She says her cultivation method is complicated, because on top of failing to progress, it's also going to shorten her lifespan. But if he does this and she takes the pill, she'll become an ordinary person again. Hiroto says no, because that's part of their next deal, and asks if she wants to know what real cultivation actually is. After that talk, the girl knocks on his door, really shy. She brought the things the way he asked and plans to stay at his place for a bit. When he notices her face is red and tries to figure out why, she avoids explaining and goes inside. Then she asks if he's going somewhere far again this time. Our hero says he's not sure this time and is standing in front of his garden, with the magical flowers he planted. As soon as things with Ama settle down, he's going to Ryuja, to look for the spiritual spring they told him about. The energy coming off the Silverheart grass is surprisingly gentle, and training near it will be good for Setsu's body. Right then, his pet puppy shows up, and the guy explains that he's going to teach her proper cultivation techniques. While he's gone, he wants the girl to take care of his dog and his garden. She gets attached to the dog and asks what his name is. Our hero says the animal doesn't have a name, and Setsu says names matter because they give you a place in the world, and that he should name the dog. Our MC calls him Roku, and the dog reacts with happy barking, like he liked the choice. Our hero picked that name because of someone from his past life who apparently trained him. Roku taught him the fighting moves he learned. After that, the girl takes a bath and asks which room she's going to sleep in. Our hero tells her to use the guest room, which is already clean. She asks what's going on with the Ama family, and the MC says it's already been taken care of. Ama Joe isn't going to disappear from his higher-ranking relatives. On the Ama family mountain, we see Joe meeting his relatives. They ask if his uncle is coming out of seclusion today, and Joe gets scared when he sees the doors opening. As soon as the gate opens, a giant beast comes out, and an old man says 5 years fly by for cultivators, and thinking everyone waited for this old relic makes him feel honored. Ama Takuzo, Joe's great-grandfather, appears on top of a black lion with golden eyes. They congratulate him for reaching the 3rd stage, and say he's a legendary immortal now, and they pray his life will be longer and more prosperous. The elder laughs and agrees with them, then he tells Joe to come closer. He asks what happened with the family outcast Yamori. Joe explains that he's useless and ordinary, and that he couldn't deal with Hiroto in the end. His great-grandfather, the elder, gets furious that he couldn't handle the boy. The elder says someone from the Ama clan can't say things like that, and that favoritism or not, he can still be thrown away. If he can't do this mission, Joko will do it himself. Oka, Joko, and Tairo Chikage are ordered by the elder to go to the city of Noemi. If the two of them find out what Joko knows, that'll be for the best. In the middle of all that, Setsu wakes up at 5 in the morning to cultivate and complains, because she didn't even wake up that early to go to the spa. Hiroto explains that at 5 in the morning, spiritual chi is more abundant, and cultivating immortality gives you double the results. He tells her to drink a liquid from a mug before she starts cultivating. The girl drinks it and feels a green aura around her body and asks what that was that just happened to her. Hiroto explains it's a simplified version of the gathering pill. The pill would be way too harsh for her right now, and for her body. She needs gentle spiritual energy. This gentle mix of turmeric and parsley along with what's inside the pill is perfect for her. On his old continent, in his other life, they use this mix for newborn babies. He notices that people in this world have really weak bodies. He tells her to change clothes quickly, and then he's going to teach her the real method of immortal cultivation. In a plaza, the two of them meditate on top of stones, and she feels embarrassed to cultivate there. The MC explains that the closer to nature, the better it is to cultivate spiritual chi, and the forest park is the best place. Some old folks in the plaza try to figure out what the two young people are doing, and realize it's spiritual energy cultivation. They think she must be close with the guy, since they're going through this journey together. Seeing the girl getting restless, Hiroto tells her to focus and feel the spiritual energy around her. Her previous method was to forcibly hold in spiritual chi, and her body was holding other violent energies. Normal people can't see those energies, can't use them, and can't protect their bodies from them. But she broke the mechanism on her own. Cultivating spiritual chi leads to purification, extracting the purest part and nourishing your body with it. And purification efficiency is the biggest difference between her method and his. Her spiritual chi usage rate is 40%. With his method you use 100% of the energy. Guiding energy into the body requires spiritual power, and it's in the forehead, called the platform, and she has to work to empty her mind. As soon as she empties it and feels that platform, she has to guide it. Setsu squeezes her eyes shut and tries to focus on emptying her mind. She tries to empty it and figure out where that platform is in her mind, full of spiritual energy. She can't feel her spiritual chi, because her mind is haunted by the image of her oppressive father. The old folks think something's wrong with the girl, since she's sweating so much. Sweating from all the effort, the girl can't see her spiritual energy, and our hero gently touches his fingers to her forehead. Our MC helps her and tells her to close her eyes and try to feel it again. Borrowing his spiritual power, she tries hard to feel her spiritual chi. The girl strains while he sends energy into her, and the old couple thinks the scene is really cute. Finally, she can see inside her body with spiritual energy flowing through it. She thinks it's beautiful seeing spiritual chi right in front of her. And the MC says that's the real complete appearance of spirits, which the naked eye can't see. Our MC breaks the connection and says that was enough for the first day of training. She needs to feel and guide her spiritual chi more. That way she can enter the first stage of immortal cultivation. The two go back home, and during her bath in the tub, Setsu remembers him gently touching her forehead, and finds it annoying. Annoying that her focus should be entering the first stage of cultivation, and nothing else, and she fights against her thoughts. A week later, the MC is at a place Snakehead gave him and wonders if this is really right. After a week, Ning can feel spiritual chi, and the energy pills will be enough to enter the first stage. With the strength she has now, she can look after her home without any problems. So he leaves for his trip without worrying and sees a vehicle arranged by Snakehead. Getting on the bus, the driver thinks he looks like a student to be going somewhere so dangerous. The driver says the bus is empty, and he can sit wherever he wants and enjoy the ride. Our hero gets on without saying anything and notices some strange people sitting on the bus. Hiroto Yaimori is finally following what his informant told him. They landed by plane in the city of Ninghai, and the passengers start getting off. People arrive at the city airport and say they got the kid's address and they're going to deal with him now. Seeing the front of Hiroto's house, a thug wants to have some fun, since the last time he went out was 30 years ago. Our hero prepared a bracelet to protect the girl while he's in Ningth for her safety. A talisman with jade stones. If she's in danger, she should use it the way he taught her. President Sue has her attention grabbed by her employee, who gets irritated because she isn't responding and is holding the bracelet and spacing out. Her secretary knows it was the man she likes who gave the bracelet, and she knows the president cares a lot about him. She tells Fang she needs her on a business trip, and the destination is a place she hates. She asks President Su for help, because she was wrong, and meanwhile we see the MC on a bus, out in the middle of nowhere. He's been on the trip for 6 hours, and it looks like every passenger has their own rations to make it to Luxi, until all of a sudden there's a hard stop that makes everyone jump up in panic. The driver tells everyone to stay calm and guarantees everyone's safety. Right then, a gang of thieves smashes the windows and doors and storms the bus. They come in armed with knives, and a passenger says this territory belongs to Hong and thinks they're from the Flower Gang. Without mercy, the killer plunges the knife into the passenger who said that and ends his life. Leaving everyone shocked, he says there's someone on this bus who shouldn't be here, and everyone can cooperate and figure out who it is. If they don't cooperate, the outcome will be the same as the man on the floor, already dead. Our protagonist figures they're after him and realizes he's caught up in this. One of the thugs walks up to him and tells him to stand up so they can see his face. Seeing him acting all sneaky, he asks what's in his bag. Another killer says not to waste words on people who won't cooperate and says they should be taken out immediately. Following his boss's orders, he pulls a machete out of his pocket and threatens the man sitting on the bus. But the person vanishes, and they feel a gust of wind inside the vehicle, which they find weird. Our hero comes up behind the thugs and hits them with a brutal punch, and the first one goes flying out the window. Hiroto says time really is tight, and they came for him pretty fast. The two left rush him with everything they've got, since he dislocated their partner's arm. Quickly, our hero smashes one in the face, and he spits a lot of blood and gets badly hurt. As one drops, he's already getting ready to hit the other with a huge punch to the face too. In moments, Hiroto takes out all the attackers without any trouble, and they're all down and badly injured. When he says it's over, the girl with her face covered by a mask and hood is really surprised. Our protagonist drags the thugs off the bus, ties them up, and helps fix the bus, which they damaged. Noticing the axle is broken and won't move, there's no phone signal, and if there are wild animals around, they're screwed because they can't run. The drivers are scared, not knowing what to do and not knowing what might show up out there. The MC could survive in the wild, but to get to Luxi it would take time and he'd have to find the informant again. The hooded woman asks him to take her to Luxi. In return, he can protect her until the city of Giban. Hiroto says he's not interested, and she tells him to think again. After all, without her he won't find Luxi. Our hero knows the group came after her because of what's in her briefcase. He asks what makes her think she can negotiate terms with someone who's being hunted. She says she gets his point but tells him to wait a moment. She introduces herself as Wendong from Luxi and says she knows he isn't going to the city for money, but to find sources of spiritual chi, and she pulls out a sample from her briefcase.
Guys, that's the end of the video. If you liked this video, please leave a comment in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Like the video and share it too. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.